All of these readings, which were very interesting, describe how Latin America is fraught with crime and criminal institutions because of the instability of institutions that are meant to control crime and keep it in check. And and there's many difficulties of addressing systematic violence and criminality in the region. So, and organized crime in Latin America is intertwined with political power struggles. So, in Correa Cabrera, Keck, and Nava, this article describes how organized crime in Mexico is on the rise and how it has transformed recently. So, the article says that Mexico's war on drugs, the more recent from 2007 to 2010, has led to a shift in violence, and the state lost its monopoly on the use of force. So, the government didn't handle this well because their militarized response to drug cartels actually opened up and created the space for criminal organizations and paramilitaries to gain power, and this further complicated the situation, making it more difficult to control. So, the cartels and paramilitaries took control over many areas, and the state often struggled to maintain law and order and control this. So there's a very complicated relationship between organized crime and the area and the state and the government. So it's a little bit hard to analyze, but it's overall just very intertwined and mixed, which makes it a lot more difficult to control. And then in Stansky, this study, this study explores the role of gender in recruitment into Colombia's FARC, which is a guerrilla group, and women were drawn to this for many reasons, and they wanted, for example, to escape their oppressive gender role. They escape the oppressive gender roles in society, so they saw this as a way to gain strength and power in the community. So, and the FARC utilized many gendered recruitment strategies, and this offered women a sense of empowerment. And this article not only discusses this, but it discusses how terrorist organizations and organizations similar, not necessarily terrorist, they can use ideological and social factors to attract people to recruit, specifically using people in marginalized communities who are already at risk and very needing a place to find power and strength. So especially when gender roles are part of the experience, women have found many, many ways over the years to gain a little bit of power and a little bit of strength to control themselves, and many of these women in Colombia saw this as a way out. So in Tyner, it debates whether cartel-related violence in Mexico should be classified as narcoterrorism or criminal insurgency. So narcoterrorism basically is using violence to achieve political goals, and this targets mostly civilians and sometimes government institutions. But criminal insurgency is more based in power struggles, if I'm getting this correct, and between criminal organizations and the state. So, and between criminal organizations themselves. So, Tyner says that Mexican cartels engage in both forms of violence. They use terroristic methods and they use tactics to challenge state power. So, this approach complicates the resolvement of these issues a lot and blurs the line between criminal and political violence in Mexico. In Villegas, it describes the New York Times report that ongoing violence in Mexico is still very strong, and a group that was searching for the disappeared people in Mexico discovered an extermination camp. So, yeah, the cartel violence in Mexico caused these missing people, and yeah, and it shows the terrifying lengths that criminal